The black race is one of the branches of the human race. As a section of humanity, he occupies a position in the world at the present time most unfavorable and most uncomfortable. The black people are subjects of ostracism. It is sad that our humanity has shown us no more love, no greater sympathy than we are experiencing. Wheresoever you go throughout the world, the black man is discarded, is ostracized, is relegated to the lowest in things, social, political, and economical. This therefore suggests a problem and one that must be solved. We in this section of the world are not entirely free from this unkind, unsympathetic, and uncharitable behavior of the groups or races around us. But since man has been placed on his own responsibility, whether he be black, white, or yellow, he must act on his own account. We will not unduly whine or complain, but reason among ourselves and see what can be done to remedy this state of affairs. Life is a conflict. You have to fight your way through it whether you will it or not. Those of us who are able to fight most stubbornly live, accomplish most, and to them go the laurels, the palms, and triumph of our civilization and world. We unfortunately have not been trained nor educated in the truths of life, paradoxically so. He has shown us no more love, no greater sympathy than we are experiencing. Wheresoever you go throughout the world, the black man is discarded, is ostracized, is relegated to the lowest in things, social, political, and economical. This therefore suggests a problem and one that must be solved. We in this section of the world are not entirely free from this unkind, unsympathetic, and uncharitable behavior of the groups or races around us. But since man has been placed on his own responsibility, whether he be black, white, or yellow, he must act on his own account. We will not unduly whine or complain, but reason among ourselves and see what can be done to remedy this state of affairs. Life is a conflict. You have to fight your way through it whether you will it or not. Those of us who are able to fight most stubbornly live, accomplish most, and to them go the laurels, the palms, and triumph of our civilization and world. We unfortunately have not been trained nor educated in the truths of life, paradoxically so. May I say something to you to give you a true knowledge of yourself and life, so that the same glory and success attained by other men who understand themselves may be yours. Man in the full knowledge of himself is a superb and supreme creature of creation. When man becomes possessor of the knowledge of himself, he becomes master of his environment, the captain of his own ship, the director of his own destiny, the accomplisher of his own ends. Man should understand himself because man is full of knowledge, and this knowledge is a gift of nature. When Mother Nature created man, she deprived him of nothing. He was given the faculty of understanding all things around him. This faculty for understanding has not been taken away from him. None of his senses have been taken away from him. So there is no excuse for the black man in lacking the knowledge that man is used to beautify the world and produce all that he needs for his happiness and civilization. Look the world over, and whatever you see in it that is pleasing to man, contributing to man's comfort, to his needs and to his satisfaction, it is but the work of man. Man blessed with the knowledge of himself and the understanding of all things around him. If you are able to live with the knowledge of yourself and with the greater knowledge of nature, you must know what is good and what is not. You must know what is finite. You must know that which is material, physical, and otherwise is at your disposal to create or otherwise use. If we leave America and go over to the east to Japan, they will be telling their fellow citizens of Japan of the wonderful accomplishments of the Japanese people, proving that man is moving onward as time moves on. But you have hated yourselves as you have done in previous years. You have shown malice, prejudice, and hate to each other. And the result is that while other races have made progress, while India has made progress towards nationalism, while Ireland has made progress towards republicanism, while the whole world has made progress in man's accomplishments, you still stand fighting yourselves, dishonoring yourselves, showing no disposition toward that higher life so that you will be abundantly blessed. So reflect and think that you were created for some purpose other than exhibiting malice toward your neighbor or fellow men of your own race. What a pity it is that we cannot stand united without a written law. There is no written law compelling other races to stand together. They are brought together by the gentle touch of nature. The unwritten law of nature causes them to stand together on all occasions. So wheresoever you find them in the field, that one gentle touch of nature causes them to stand together, if need be, die together. But with the black man, you can preach to him from the pulpits. You lecture from the platforms, from the byways and the hedges. The spirit of cooperation, but he will not cooperate. You talk to him gently, you try talking harshly, they still will not cooperate. The result is that he falls prey to those who understand themselves and walk through the world making you their serfs and slaves. You must acquire an understanding yourselves. Look around you. See the smiling pictures of nature, the beautiful hedges, the wonderful mountains, the wonderful vegetation all around. But because of your disposition to each other, you live in suffering, in want, in penury, and in debt. You lack the gentle touch of nature, love for each other. You hate yourselves. Black men, and what is wrong with you? Why have you no affection for yourselves? Could I hope to see you living among yourselves as the people I've spoken of? Living in charity, love, and in sympathy with each other? It can be done. I wonder if you will adapt that course. Isn't it easier to enjoy prosperity than to live in ignorance and darkness? Why select the worst out of nature? Nature never gave pain, suffering, and death to the world. It was man himself who selected death, pain, and sorrow. I wonder if I cannot inspire you to select between good and evil. Let me impress upon you once again that whatsoever your hardships may be, whatsoever your difficulties in life, they are your own selection. And so if you encourage them, if you husband them and take them to your bosom, they will abide with you. Nature will not take them away from you as Mother Nature did not give them to you. She is not responsible for your sorrows. Mother Nature represents all that is beautiful. She gave you the highest personality in the realm divine. Your sorrows are your own. If you want joy, if you want sunshine, it is before you abundantly in nature. I made a selection of sunshine, the beautiful sunshine. I made a selection to laugh at the moon, to laugh at the stars, and sing with the birds of the forest and of the wilderness, to join in the rhythmic music of the winds that sing from east to west and from north to south. Had I selected sorrow, I would have been dead a long time ago, and been without that which would send me into the presence of the divine, because I would have lived not with the knowledge that is divine. We must acquire the higher knowledge of life. Black men and black women, will you get the knowledge that the white man has that causes him to be leaders and masters in the world? They are not gods with a peculiar source for understanding the world around them. They have only given expression to the knowledge of their humanity and been able to use and conquer all to their satisfaction and glory. And that is why they are always greater than you in every community that you find them. Isn't it strange that wheresoever the white man is found, he takes precedence over you? Why is that so? Answer that for yourselves, black men and black women. Wheresoever you come in contact with the white man, you always have to go down in defeat before him. It be in England, in France, or in America, you always have to go down to the white man, and yet he has 2 eyes, 2 feet, 2 hands, same passions, same senses and feelings as you have. Your feet are not put on opposite sides, now your hands turned around the other way. But it's because you fail to use your will, your knowledge, and your mental faculty to the point where you will enjoy life around you. I'm only here and not in the gutters and in the pond of despair because I use my intelligence. And I swear that no man alive shall ever use his intelligence in understanding the works of nature more than I shall rise as high as he is, and I shall meet in the same fruit. With a greater knowledge of life, you're able to appreciate all things around you. I'm able to gather you here because I understand you. Understand your neighbor, white girl, and you'll be able to live in harmony with each other and get the best out of life. The early Africans were able to be the fathers of our civilization because they persevered in the objectization of the Alexandrias, of the Timbuktus, the creation of the black man in the early ages. Do we realize that the civilization we now enjoy was handed down to the present century? But the black man went back to sleep and is still sleeping. We are trying to awaken you to the true consciousness of yourselves. You young black men, you young black women, may we not appeal to you knowing you as we do to turn over a new leaf, rejecting the ignorance, the foolishness, the childishness that has been your part for these many years. We have looked into your faces, you growing manhood, the rising generation, and no serious thought can we see registered on your countenance but the thought of vulgarity. I've been in your presence and my heart bleeds for you, the conduct you reflect. I've listened to your dirty language used to express yourselves when you could have expressed yourselves in good form. Can I appeal to the black manhood to turn over a new leaf? I'm ashamed of my black manhood, and what I've said to the black man, I also said to the black women. Your conduct is disgraceful. Young women whose personality spells respectability, at the least provocation, the filthy words they utter would almost make you turn and run away from them. A race that cannot conduct itself any better than that is bound to go down in defeat, is bound to go down in debt, in hell, and in degradation. Your conduct is going to destroy you. You're driving your best friends away from you. Men will not respect you because you do not respect yourself. As I come in contact with my race from both a financial and social point of view, I realize how weak we are in the essentials that make for success. You are your worst enemy. The black man goes into business and tries to do the right thing, but what do we find? He gets no support from his fellow man. They lie on him, they rob him, and the next thing you hear, he's out of business, pulled down by you, his brothers. Have no faith and are dishonest to each other. There is no love for the man in black. See how we are struggling as strangers in a foreign clime, struggling in America, in Europe, in Asia, and in Africa, where men look upon us, not with love.
Lost Sheep Production, Brooklyn. You already.
After 11 hours of deliberation, the jury was called in by the eminent Jewish jurist Judge Mack and given a second set of instructions without their request. The gist of it was that if they had come back with a not guilty or hung jury, to remember the expense in which the government would be put, the public would have lost time, the court, the jury, and the witnesses would have to go through the entire exercise again. They went back into the jury room and 30 minutes later came back with a verdict. Justice is greater than the law. The gist of it was that if they had come back with a not guilty or hung jury, to remember the expense in which the government would be put, the public would have lost time, the court, the jury, and the witnesses would have to go through the entire exercise again. They went back into the jury room and 30 minutes later came back with a verdict. Justice is greater than the law. If justice was not included in the law, then the law would be of no use to us as human beings. What I was concerned with was the truth. I asked no mercy. I asked no sympathy. I asked for justice based on the evidence given in the courtroom. I later found out that the judge wanted to speed things up because he had an appointment with the International Zionist Convention in Chicago. It was also due to the fact that I had acquired my first set of papers for naturalization. In my closing statement, I told those 12 men that they were to judge a man by the testimony, by what had been brought into the case, by their judgment of what is wrong and what is right. You may condemn the body, but not the soul. It is not in their power to condemn the body. God condemns the soul. Judge me, and God will judge you for judging Marcus Garvey. Trial took 5.5 weeks, and every day I had a fight with the district attorney. With the I felt like it was impossible for me to escape the traps that were being laid out by the press, rival organizations, personal enemies, foreign governments who were interested in me being convicted. No one, not even the absent attorney, could have fought for me as I fought for myself, because he would have been risking the friendship and goodwill of the powerful influences that were aligned against me. There were several witnesses brought in by the government who probably because of a bribe would say anything the prosecutors told them to. For instance, Edgar Gray, a man with a super abundance of intelligence, could not say where he was really from. He claimed he was born in Sierra Leone, West Africa. That man was a coconut born in Antigua. Super abundance of intelligence, could not say where he was really from. He claimed he was born in Sierra Leone, West Africa. That man was a coconut born in Antigua. Gray disappeared from the UNIA with funds of the organization, which he handled in my absence and for whom a warrant is out for his arrest. There was also Leo Healy. I regarded him as a friend. The very morning when he came in to testify, I met him outside, shook his hand, not knowing that he was there to testify against me. And he said I was a good man, then I was bad because I did not pay him the bills of the Black Star Line. Garvey was not the Black Star Line. We were not asking his opinion of the Star Line. We were asking his opinion of Marcus Garvey. He said understand that he believed that I was a member of the Ku Klux Klan. Now he knows there ain't no black man a member of the KKK. Well, when we placed Mrs. Lawson on the witness stand, well, she wore dark glasses obviously to obscure the movements of her eyes and her line of stare as she tried to communicate with the prosecutor. During cross-examination, we asked her to show her subpoena. Then she fumbled around and looked at the district attorney, lowering her head, waiting for his approval. She said she bought stock in 1917, even though the Black Star Line never sold stock in 1917. It was not in existence then. She claimed to be sick, as were two other witnesses who were able to make a quick $30 in the 5 minutes they spent on the stand. The prosecutor wanted to appeal to the sympathy of that jury. A young man named Cargill admitted on the stand to the dismay and disgust of the prosecutor that he was told what to say concerning the circulars and letters supposedly brought in as evidence in the case. Folks tried to misrepresent me and say that I do not like white people. Some of my best friends are white. The bishop, who was my friend since my youthful days, testified. When I asked him of his opinion of Marcus Garvey, he said, doubtful. They didn't understand what he meant. I was a public man. Opinions differ. Surely some men are doubtful of me and some are not. He didn't say that Garvey was doubtful. When I asked him for his personal opinion, the question was objected to and sustained by the judge, claiming that it was an improper question. There were some white-controlled newspapers who felt that I was railroaded. I remember one of them stated that my troubles began when I stepped on the toes of France and Great Britain, and that it was a very grave question whether justice had been in my case. After I was found guilty, they released me on $25,000 bail pending the hearing of the appeal. While waiting, I formed the Black Cross Navigation and Trading Company, business enterprises which comprise the Negro Factories Corporation, the Black Eagles Flying Corps, dress and millinery shops, a publishing company and printing plant, a phonograph company, a restaurant, laundries, a black doll factory, a hotel, a chain of grocery stores, and the Royal African Motor Corps, a fleet of moving vans. I was in Detroit when the mandate was handed down. Having received the telegram to return immediately, I got on the first train leaving for New York. When I arrived, I was brutally seized by heavily armed men and pulled from a Pullman car at the 125th Street station and taken to the Tombs prison. So that there are certain people who do not like me because I am black. They do not like me because I was not born in the United States. Some Irish slave master gave my great-great-grandfather his name. Garvey is not an African name. It's Irish. Garcia is not African, nor is Thompson or Johnston. They were inherited from our slave masters, English, French, Irish, or Scotch. If I was born in Jamaica, it was no fault of mine. It was because the slave ship which took me to Jamaica did not go to American ports, and that is how some Negroes in America were not born in the West Indies.
Mr. Garvey, why would you want to stand up to a great republic like America?
We're not fighting America. We're not fighting this great government.
Then what are you doing?
We're fighting hypocrisy and lies, and this we're going to fight until the bitter end.
Are you fearful of being deported?
There's no federal law whereby I could be processed against on the grounds of being an undesirable from the point of view of deportation.
Yes, there is. Under Section 19 of the Act to regulate the immigration of aliens to and their residence in the U.S.
I arrived in this country on March 23rd, 1916. Today is June 18th, 1923. That law still has not been enacted.
When the NAACP says, and I quote, Garvey must go.
Which is why J. Edgar trumped up the charges against me.
Do you think it was a good idea to fire your attorney?
Yes.
Do you think that representing yourself could backfire on you?
No, I do not.
Why not?
The Constitution allows every man the privilege to defend themselves, to prove his innocence before an American court of justice, and so I decided to do so irrespective of being a lawyer.
District Attorney Mattock asked the jury, quote, gentlemen, will you let the tiger loose? What's your reaction?
Guilty men are afraid of jail. I'm as much at home in jail for the cause of human rights as I am in my drawing room.
Well, what did you think of Mr. Dancy's testimony?
Mr. Dancy was used by this government to testify against me. You heard him when the prosecutor asked him whether any of the letters were from the Black Star Line.
He couldn't remember.
He couldn't remember. Mr. Dancy can't read. My life is at stake and he couldn't remember. What happened in that courtroom was a charade. You all know he was just lying through his teeth.
You're a foreigner. Why are you making all these waves? Even George Harris, editor of the New York News, a colored newspaper published in Harlem, referred to you as an alien.
An alien is one who enters a country on his own account without any invitation and who domiciles himself in that portion of the country because of his own desire.
Isn't that exactly what you did, sir?
I never desired to be born in the Western world. My desire was to be born in the land of my fathers, but against my will, by stubborn protest, somebody seized me and brought me here from my silent repose in Africa 300 years ago.
When they get rid of you, then what?
This is only the first Marcus Garvey. There will be other cubs in the fold.
You met with Edward Young Clark, the acting imperial wizard of the Ku Klux Klan?
Yes.
What was that meeting like?
It was rather cordial. He made it clear that they are interpreting the true spirit of every true American.
What is the attitude of the Klan toward the Negro who desires to be, say, President of the United States?
That he shall never be as long as one white man living in this country.
But isn't America a white man's country?
Yes, it is a white man's country because he conquered the Indian, exterminated him, and took possession of his property. I'd say the KKK is the invisible government of the United States.
What do you mean?
And the clan represents the spiritual feeling and even the physical attitude of every white man in this land.
Do you realize that such statements could get you lynched?
We have 5 million substantial oak trees between Africa and the West Indies. We are ready for a lynching party tonight if they wanted to.
Recently, there have been several rapings of black women by whites. Was that discussed?
Yes, it was. He claims that they're as much against that as any self-respecting Negro should be. But I know better. In my opinion, they are structured for the purpose of offending, suppressing, and killing Negroes. I would advise every Negro and those who aspire to leadership to form an organization similar to that of the Ku Klux Klan, so that they may be able to look out for their own interests and not continue to be begging white people to do for them what they ought to be doing for themselves. Thank you very much. Part of my trial is that I was indicted along with others for conspiracy to use the United States mails to defraud in promotion of the Black Star Line Steamship Company. Yet my conviction was void of conspiracy in that I alone was convicted. If I understand my conviction clear, I was convicted for selling stock in the Black Star Line after I knew to be insolvent. The difference between us and the trial court is that they wanted a conviction. All the others who had more to do with the actual selling of stock than I went free because they were not wanted. I received the fullest penalty that the law could impose. 5 years in the penitentiary, the maximum fine of $5,000 as provided by the law, and the entire cost of the case. A condition not generally imposed maybe once in 25 years. It was not Marcus Garvey on trial. It was not a question of money on trial. It was the principle of a race fighting for liberty on trial. And when you attack the principles of the UNIA, Garvey goes to war, and he remains on the firing line until he passes away or until Victor Porches on the back. I am going to prison because I dare to serve you. Neglect my home, a loyal and dear woman, my wife, and myself. Above all, the things I prize most in the world is the honor of my name. I have never in all my life, to my conscious knowledge, done one mean act. Because it has always been the policy of my life to live with honor or die for the principle. How well I have succeeded is made manifest in the sweeping consciousness that has taken hold of the race in Africa, America, the West Indies, Central and South America, Asia, and my imprisonment for so doing. The National Association for the Advancement of of colored people and others who have combined to fight the UNIA are going to be disappointed. As they cannot harm Marcus Garvey. Not Judge Mack, not J. Edgar Hoover, not W.E.B. Du Bois and his Blue Vein Society, nobody. The history of the movement is now being written. Do you know what history means? History is the guidepost of a race. It is the inspiration for succeeding generations either to go forward or stand still, either to revenge or be revenged. I had a motive and a purpose. It was a crying voice from the grave that said, Garvey, we have suffered for 250 years for your day and time. We expect something of you at this hour. The prejudice against us as an African people is not because of color, it's because of our condition. The prejudice against us as an African people is not because of color, it's because of our condition. If we must have justice, we must be strong. If we must be strong, we must come together. If we must come together, we can only do so through the system of organization. But to fight for African redemption does not mean that you must be disloyal to any government or country wherein you were born. It is not our purpose or intention to send all black people back to Africa. No! Those of us who leave America to go settle permanently in Africa will become pioneers, pilgrim fathers of the new nation. The African race became strong in Africa, it could be strong everywhere. For 250 years, we have struggled under the burden and rigors of slavery. We were brutalized, we were maimed, we were killed, we were ravaged in every way. We are men. We have hopes, we have passions, we have feelings, we have desires just like any other race. The cries raised all over the world of Canada for the Canadians, of America for the Americans, of England for the English, of France for the French, of Germany for the Germans. Do you think it unreasonable that we, the blacks of the world, should raise a cry of Africa for the Africans? The Negro is a man. We represent the new Negro. His back is not yet against the wall. We do not want his back against the wall because that would be a peculiar and desperate position. We do not want him there. It's because of this that we are asking for a fair compromise. The Belgians have control of the Belgian Congo, which they cannot use. They have not the resources to develop nor the intelligence. The French have more territory than they can develop. There are certain parts of Africa in which you cannot live at all. So it is for you to come together and give us a United States of Africa. We are not going to be a race without a country. God never intended it, and we are not going to abuse God's confidence in us as men. We are men, human beings, capable of the same acts as any other race, possessing under fair circumstances the same intelligence as any other race. Africa's been sleeping, not dead, only sleeping. Today, Africa is walking around not only on her feet, but on her brains. You can enslave, as was done for 300 years, the bodies of men. You can shackle the hands of men. You can shackle the feet of men. You can imprison the bodies of men. But you cannot shackle or imprison the minds of men. Dive down, black men, and dig. Reach up, black men and women, and pull all nature's knowledge to you. Turn you around and make a conquest of everything, north and south, east and west. And then when you will have wrought will, you will have merited God's blessings. And as you bow down to the white man today, so will other races bow down to you and call you a race of masters because of the superiority of your minds and your achievements. We must canonize our own saints, create our own martyrs, and elevate the positions of fame and honor. Black men and black women who have made a distinct contribution to our racial history. Sojourner Truth is worthy of a place of sainthood alongside of Joan of Arc. Christmas Addicts and George William Gordon are entitled to the halo of martyrdom with no less glory than that of the martyrs of any other race. Africa's produced countless numbers of men and women in war and peace whose luster and bravery outshine that of any other people.
The Culture Revolution Show. Every Tuesday night, Shine Online Radio. The Culture Revolution Show. Every Tuesday night, Shine Online Radio. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. The Culture Revolution Show. Every Tuesday night, Shine Online Radio. The Culture Revolution Show. Every Tuesday night, Shine Online Radio. The people that walked in darkness have seen a great light. They that dwell in the land of the shadow of death, upon them hath the light shine. The Culture Revolution Show. Every Tuesday night, Shine Online Radio. The Culture Revolution Show. Every Tuesday night, Shine Online Radio. Radio. Culture Revolution Show. Every Tuesday night, Shine Online Radio. The Culture Revolution Show. Every Tuesday night, Shine Online Radio.
Good evening, dear brothers and sisters, and welcome to another edition of the Cultural Revolution Show right here on Shine Online Radio, broadcasting each and every Tuesday evening between the hours of 7 and 8 p.m. out of the beautiful island of Barbados in the Caribbean. My name is Brother Abdul, and before we get started this evening, first, please allow me to send condolences and well wishes to our brothers and sisters in the island of Jamaica. Last week, Jamaica experienced a terrible Category 5 hurricane, Hurricane Melissa. We pray for the families who lost loved ones and lost property also. And we pray that Almighty God Allah will help you to reestablish yourself even better than before. Now, dear family, our theme, our topic, our subject for this evening is overcoming fear. Overcoming and mastering fear. What a wonderful topic. Now, you know, and I know too, that there isn't a single human being on this planet who hasn't experienced fear. Not one, okay? Even though many will say, oh, I've never been made afraid, but they're lying, brothers and sisters, they're lying. Everyone, every human being has at some time experienced fear. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan teaches us that fear restricts. And in truth, he said that fear and ignorance is our worst enemy as a people, black people. Fear and ignorance. So what we're going to do, as we are accustomed to doing on this show, is we are first going to listen to the voice of our teacher, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, speaking on fear, and then we will come back in a little later and add something ourselves to this subject, okay? So there's still time, brothers and sisters, for you to message a friend, call a friend, and let them know that the Cultural Revolution show is broadcasting live right now on Shine Online Radio. Why not send them the link and let them benefit from the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and that which we are sharing this evening. Okay, so we'll be back after this.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to understand this. This is the Cultural Revolution show, and this is for the whole of the world to know. Get wise. Papa Levi said that.
Fear. Is fear natural? If fear is a natural thing, then is it something that we must overcome? And if so, how? According to the dictionary, fear is a distressing emotion aroused by impending pain, danger, evil. Whether that pain, danger, or evil is real or imagined, if you become afraid even of some imaginary thing that has not yet happened, the distressing emotion will still be present. It is the feeling or the condition of being afraid. But there's another kind of fear. It has reverence to it, and that is the fear of God. Fear restricts whatever we are afraid of. That we fear makes us insecure. Whatever makes us afraid and insecure could cause us to bow. If we bow to that which we fear that has made us insecure, then there is no way that we could be Muslims. I'm going to say it again. Whatever you fear gives you a sense of insecurity. You don't feel secure. The very fact that you feel insecure is beginning to tamper with your being a Muslim. Because a Muslim is one who has been made secure. And having been made secure, enters into peace no matter what the circumstance is. Listen, 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 listen. When we are afraid, fear causes us not to think properly. Fear causes us not to act properly. Fear makes you so insecure that you have a tendency to acquiesce to submit, to surrender to the thing that you're afraid of. And if you acquiesce, submit, and surrender to what you are afraid of, then it becomes a God to you beside God. Do you understand? Now, think of something you're afraid of, or someone you're afraid of. If somebody can terrorize you, they got you. The moment they can make you tremble, I mean, some things can make you tremble now, but the question is not if you tremble, the question is, what do you do after something makes you tremble? Now, if you just lay down, say, in the street language, somebody just punked you. Then you can't say, I'm a Muslim and I'm afraid, and I wouldn't challenge my own fear. It is not that you won't be made afraid, because there's some terrifying things in this world. But when you are afraid, that's the test of faith. Now you got to call on what you got faith in. Now some of us might have faith in our own strength. You know, I go to the gym every day. I work out. You know, I built my muscles, and so it don't make me afraid. I'll rely on my strength. But when somebody got a .357 Magnum placed at your head, then all your work in the gym might not help too much. So when you face the gun, fear jumps up in your heart, because you know that has the power to take your life. Well, do you surrender, or do you challenge the thing that has made you afraid? Now, most of us, when we are tried by fear, we succumb. And no man can ever be what God intended him or her to be if you allow anything but God to make you afraid. I'm going to say that again. I'm going to say it again. I want you to internalize this. Anytime we allow anything to make us afraid, and we refuse to challenge our fear of that thing, then we can never be that man or that woman that God intended us to be, because fear will not allow you to be yourself. Now, if God made man and woman in his own likeness, then can you imagine God being afraid? I mean, just think about God for a minute. There's a lion. How could he be afraid of what he created? So if he is the creator and this is the creature, then he has natural mastery over it if he does not allow what he created to terrify him. This is no Frankenstein, that the thing created now can terrify its creator. There is nothing in creation that can make God afraid. Well, then if God is not afraid of anything that he created, and you and I are in his image and in his likeness, will you tell me, please, how we can justify being afraid of anything in creation? Tell me, can you justify it? Now let's talk about that for a minute, because it's easy to say no, sir, but let's talk about it. Let's see if there's anything in creation we justify in being afraid of. Let's start with the biggest thing, the sun. Should we be afraid of it? Why? It was created to serve you. Moon, stars, everything that you see was created to serve man. If you're afraid of it, you can't master it. You don't even approach it with the thought of mastering the sun. Let's not even talk about mastering ants or bees or birds. But you were created to master everything in creation, because everything in creation was created to be the servant of man. Well, if you become afraid, fear restricts you from the study necessary to become a master. Well, there are things in life. I mean, if you were out in the field and a bear jumped up, I mean, a bear will make you afraid, brother. You know, and there are other creatures that will make you afraid too. But you know what? The creatures have a natural fear of you, because they know something about you that you don't know about yourself. The creatures know that you have been given power over them. They're frightened of the human. But the human has no right to be frightened of the creature. I once was listening to a tape by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I was out in Arizona taking a month to fast and pray and discipline myself for a fight against cancer. And while I was out there, I was listening to a tape of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and he was saying that God did not make the original man, black man, to be afraid of anything in his creation. He only made you and me to fear him. And it is the fear of God and God alone that gives you mastery over the creation. But if you don't know God and won't trust God and have faith in God, then things that make you afraid will become your master. So after I heard that on the tape, it just so happened the next morning, every morning, I went for a morning walk. And I would walk from 4 miles every day to 11 and 12 miles sometime on the weekends. So this morning, I was out walking. I always had the brothers to walk a few paces behind me, because that was my time of communicating with God, and I felt I wanted to just be to myself. This morning, I'm walking, and a big bull is in the path. I ain't talking about a cow now. And there is a difference. And the bull is about where the exit sign is back there. And I'm walking. The bull see me, I see the bull. The bull stop, and I stop too. And the bull put his head down and stopped moving his feet, you know. And I know what that means. And you know what that means. And a little fear, jumped up in me. I said, oh. And I just remembered the words of Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I said, well, wait a minute. I ain't supposed to be afraid of this. I started walking. Now, wait a minute. I'm challenging my fear. I'm not saying you won't be made afraid, but you must not let things punk you. That's what I'm talking about. I couldn't turn around. I couldn't run backwards. I couldn't walk back because I had something in my head that my teacher had told me. So I talked to myself. You heard what he said. Brother, sometimes you got to talk to yourself now. Sometimes you don't have time to talk to yourself. But I had at least 50 or 60 paces to think this thing out. And I started walking toward the bull, and the bull never moved. He put his head down again, and he started doing this, And I kept right on walking. And when I got about 20 paces from the bull, fear jumped in him. And the bull ran off in the bush. I said, Allahu Akbar. And what I'm suggesting to you is that the thing that has made you afraid, if you challenge your fear of that thing, you might find fear jumping into that thing, because you were not created by God to be afraid of anything in creation but He Himself. And He's not creation, He's creator. All right, let's start now. Now, God, we're still on fear. God is worthy to be afraid of, seem like to me. But you gotta believe and know that a God exists. And there's too much majesty here for me to think that this magnificent creation doesn't have some not only architect and plan and order, but there had to be a planner and some power to give it order and to regulate the affair of the earth and all its creatures and the heavens above. So whoever that being is, I never met him, but I believe he exists. And since I believe he exists, I have a duty to him. Now the Bible says the beginning of wisdom. Now let's think about this now. You haven't even begun to be wise. It said the beginning of wisdom. You're a beginner. If you understand that the beginning of wisdom is the fear of God. And I'm going to stop right there just for a minute, because we can't spend a lot of time on these things, but I want you to study on it maybe after the lecture, and you will study on these things because you might be confronted with it before you leave or after you leave. At some point, you're going to be confronted with something, and you have to become master. And all I'm trying to get you to do is not to say you ain't afraid, but to challenge fear with faith that you can overcome your fear. Because the moment we overcome that which we are afraid of, we can become its master. Now, everything, of course, except God. Now, if the beginning of wisdom is the fear of God, then what would you call wisdom? If the fear of God makes you a beginner, then what is wisdom? See, wisdom is that which allows you mastery. And you cannot begin to become wise in life if you don't learn the fear of God. And once you learn the fear of God, then nothing in creation becomes able to terrify you. Then you are in the beginner's class of mastery. You know what's wrong with us as black people? We're afraid. And the fear that we have, I mean, we all go to church, and I guess many of us do, but we don't learn enough about God to fear him above white people. Now, we're going to just let's be honest now. I mean, we can shout all over the church. And then you go to work tomorrow. And the boss threatens you. And you feel that the loss of this job is the loss of security. So you start bowing to something that ain't right. You refuse to challenge because you don't want to lose your job. I can understand that. But if you allow a job to punk you, excuse my expression, it's really slang, I shouldn't use it, but I just want to be so clear. I don't want anybody to misunderstand. I'm not telling you to be a fool and lose your job. But I am telling you that you can challenge anybody with respect, and they will learn to respect you and become afraid, not of your muscle, but of truth that's in your mouth that you are not afraid to speak when the situation calls for it. And you know what? Practically every day in our lives, we are confronted with something that we walk away from. We don't want to tell the truth. Whatever reason you give yourself. Well, I ain't going to say nothing because they ain't going to understand, or I ain't going to say nothing because you know how hot-headed the boss is. But there's a way to do everything. But if you let people continue to make you afraid, then you'll never be the man that God intended you to be. And you must not oppose God's will for you. God wants you to be a man. God knows that you can never take charge of your post as a man and fulfill the responsibility that God lays on us as men if we are afraid. Your duty is support, provision, protection for your female. How you gonna protect her afraid? How can you provide for her and you're afraid that because of a job, you're not going to eat? Birds eat. Bees eat. Worms eat. Are you better than a bird, a bee, and a worm that you should put your life in the hands of a Caucasian master and you say that God is not able to feed you? No. You will survive. Even if the odds are against you, you will survive. You don't have to lie, cheat, or steal to survive. If you go according to the way God directs you, you will win. But if you become afraid, the fear restricts you. And you know, all of us, men and women, need psychological help.
Culture Revolution is here for you. No matter what them say or do, believe that they're here for you. Say nothing can stop you. No, 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 no. Yes, massive. Big up, enough respect. Keep it locked right here to the Cultural Revolution show. Scene. Alfio says so.
Wow, what a powerful, powerful message by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Beloved brothers and sisters, if you would like a copy of that lecture, and to me, it's an absolutely essential study lecture, then you could log on to www.finalcall.com. Okay, that's www.finalcall.com, and just click on the store button and you can purchase that lecture. You could either get the DVD or you could get the MP3, which is just $2. Imagine that. Such a powerful message just for $2. What excuse do we have as a people today for being so ignorant? We really have no excuse, because we have absolute access to truth now, full access to truth. So remember, the lecture's titled Fear, Faith and Truth, and it's by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Okay, now what we're going to do, we're going to take a brief musical break, and when we come back in, we will talk a little bit more on fear, and we will also talk about anxiety. Okay, so stay locked.
So if he's made you like himself, the express image of God, then when I see you, who am I looking at?
Eyes deep as oceans, reflecting the stars. Whenever I'm looking at a black man, I'm seeing God. Skin kissed by the cosmos, melanin charged. Walking temples of wisdom, unbroken, unmarred. The mind infinite, no ceilings, no bars. Blueprint of creation, the universe in their arms. Ancestors whisper, that echoes the cause. The black man divine, no mirage, no facade. Whenever I'm looking, whenever I'm looking, whenever I'm looking at a black man, I'm seeing God. Infinite the mind, infinite the soul. Original man, story untold. Heaven's architecture, built in his veins. The sun bows low, hums his name in refrains. Not just flesh, but the breath of the plains. The brain of the original, unchained, uncontained. Feet touch earth, continents quake. His thoughts shape worlds, his words awake. Mathematics in his stride, equations he makes. He's the proof of the truth, no need to debate. Who can measure what the infinite holds? Wisdom eternal, story retold. Whenever I'm looking, whenever I'm looking, whenever I'm looking at a black man, I'm seeing God. Infinite mind, infinite soul, original man, the story untold. Feet touch earth, continents quake. His thoughts shape worlds, his words awake. Mathematics in his stride, equations he makes. He's the proof of the truth, no need to debate. Who can measure what the infinite holds? Wisdom eternal, story retold. Who can measure what the infinite holds? Wisdom eternal, story retold.
And so, black man, God, that's who you are. Then from now on, every time you look at your brother, you're looking at God. So how should you treat God? Then you would be respectful of God. Then respect yourself. Respect your brother. Respect your woman who's the producer of the little God.
Yeah, you're in tune to Black Revolution. To the people in Radio Land,
come for your purity, yo. If you want know about black man levity, yo, come for your purity. We produce every nation, none can produce. We black man, me say, 1, 2, order. Chant Yeshensi. Listen, culture revolution. I teach you patiently. It's Anthony B. Remember, stay in tune, stay educated, stay focused. Blessed.
How great are you to be the second self of God?
Divine reflection. She the crescent in the sky's dome. Built the throne, raised kings, made the world a home. From a womb came the sun, every great one. Civilization in her hands where it begun. Her spirit speaks, louder than the wind hums. The second self of God, that's where the truth runs. Nations crumble, they don't honor her worth. The mother of the earth, the architect of birth. She the mother of creation, hold it in her palms. Every nation rise and fall depending on her songs. The second self of God, let the truth be told. No nation climbs higher than the woman it holds. Her soul's a temple, ancient like the Nile's course. Strength flows in her veins, unstoppable force. She nurtures dreams, plants seeds, grows the vine. Gave the world its first breath, eternal design. From queens to the mothers on the block, she reigns. Carrying the weight even through the chains. Resilient, brilliant, her power never dimmed. Every king's reflection, she the source within. Look to her eyes, see the galaxy spin. Every victory, every loss starts with a kin. She's the spine, the pillar, the unbroken line. The second self of God, eternal and divine.
And then call on you to be yourself. She the mother of creation, hold it in her palms. Every nation rise and fall depending on her songs. The second self of God, let the truth be told. No nation climbs higher than the woman it holds. Her soul's a temple, ancient like the Nile's course. Strength flows in her veins, unstoppable force. She nurtures dreams, plants seeds, grows the vine. Gave the world its first breath, eternal design. From queens to the mothers on the block, she reigns. Carrying the weight, even through the chains. Resilient, brilliant, her power never dimmed. Every king's reflection, she the source within. To her eyes, see the galaxy spin. Every victory, every loss starts with a kin. She's the spine, the pillar, the unbroken line. The second self of God, eternal and divine. Look to her. Where there are no decent women, there are no decent men.
Look to her.
For the woman, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches, the black woman in particular is the mother of civilization. So today, I wanted to talk about the divine nature and value of women.
Okay, you're in tune to the Cultural Revolution show right here on Shine Online Radio, broadcasting from the beautiful island of Barbados each and every Tuesday night between the hours of 7 and 8 p.m. Now, family, if you would like to purchase a copy for yourself of the beautiful lecture that we played this evening by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, it's titled Fear, Faith, and Truth. Okay, that's Fear, Faith, and Truth. You could just log on to www.finalcall.com. That's www.finalcall.com, and you can purchase a copy of that lecture for yourself. If you would like the MP3 file, you can download it. It's just $2. That's all it is, $2 US. And believe me, this lecture, if you listen to it in its entirety, it will absolutely change your life. Okay, it's life changing. It really is. Now, I want to just lift a couple of the points that Minister Farrakhan made, and then I want us to turn our attention to anxiety. Okay, anxiety, which a lot of people are experiencing today. But before we get to that, Minister Farrakhan said we can never be the man or woman that God created us to be if we allow ourselves to be made afraid. Now, he qualified it by saying it's not that we won't experience fear, it's not that we won't be made afraid, but what do we do once we're made afraid? Do we stay in a frozen psychological state? If you remember, that's what Willie Lynch said. That the woman, by brutalizing her man in front of her, put her in a mental frozen psychological state. We mustn't allow ourselves in 2025 to be put in a state like that, okay? So we have to challenge fear. And believe me, we can overcome all fear. Again, Minister Farrakhan said, the creatures have a natural fear of you. I want us to think about that, brothers and sisters, because you know that many of us are frightened of creatures, aren't we? Let's be honest now. Some of our people are frightened of dogs, of cats, of rats, of mice, even insects such as spiders or cockroaches. But they're the lower life forms that are naturally afraid of you. Minister Farrakhan said, the creatures know that you have been given power over them. This is why they're frightened. He said that the human being has no right to be frightened of the creatures. Okay, so we can master all of the creatures. You can trap creatures, even very formidable predators, such as the great white shark or the tiger shark. You can still master them. You can catch them, you can kill them. You have scientists that study them, right? And work out their behavioral patterns so they can actually swim with them outside of a cage, because they know just by the study of them and how they're behaving whether they're going to be in attack mode or not, because the lower animals function based on the way they've been programmed to function by their creator. See, we're not like that. We are made in the likeness and image of God. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said the brain of the original man is infinite, meaning that it's limitless. It has no boundaries. Okay, so let us overcome our fear of the lower creatures. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us that God did not make the original man to be afraid of anything in his creation except God himself. Okay, that's what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us, that God never created us to be afraid of anything in creation. He only created us to be afraid of God himself. And Minister Farrakhan says, it is the fear of God and God alone that gives you mastery over the creation. But if you don't know God and trust God and have faith in God, then things that make you afraid will become your master. And that's a reality, brothers and sisters, okay? Anything that makes us afraid, puts fear in us, actually masters us. fear restricts. It really does. And I want you to cast your mind back just a few short years ago in 2020 or 2021, when the whole human family pretty much were put under a state of fear, where we were told, if you don't take this experimental jab, I'll call it a jab, okay? If you don't take this experimental jab, then you're not going to be able to go out to work. You're not going to be able to go to the supermarket. You're not going to be able to go to the park. You're not going to be able to participate in the norms of society. And right here in Barbados, the government of Barbados attempted to use what they termed as social partners, which are really businesses, corporate Barbados, to really put it on the citizenry that you have to take this experimental jab, otherwise we're not going to continue your employment. And members of the Nation of Islam in Barbados and other groups, members from the Rastafarian community, the Pan-Africanist community, got together, and we took the fight into the streets to the government and to the businesses that were trying to coerce the people to take this experimental jab. And we were successful, by the grace of God and with the help of God, of backing them up. Okay, we were able to back them away from what their plans were for our people. Praise be to Allah. So, let us not allow ourselves to be ruled through fear. Okay? You've got governments all across this planet, most recently Britain, but in truth Barbados has already done it, but there are many citizens that refuse to take it. I'm speaking about digital ID, where their intention is to track you, track every movement, every way you spend your money, everything that you earn, tax every single cent that you earn. If you own property, they will know it. So don't allow yourselves to be put in a state of fear where you capitulate to these unreasonable attempts that are being made right across the globe right now. And these attempts are literally to make you a slave, okay? To make you a slave. No, not today, brothers and sisters. See, if you really know God, if you love God, then you and I are to fear no one and nothing but God. And as Minister Farrakhan says, that when we're like that, then we can become the master, okay? And not allow fear to become our master. Now, as I said, I want to turn our attention for the remaining minutes that we have left to the problem. And it's a very significant problem today, especially among our youth. And that is the problem of anxiety, okay? Anxiety is fear, but it's a particular form, right? So fear generally is an immediate, present, and clearly identified danger. We become triggered by that, yeah? And the focus is the here, the now, the present at this moment. Typically, the duration is short-lived. For example, being scared by a loud noise, a bang, or an accident of some sort. Seeing an intruder coming into your home, or narrowly avoiding a car accident. That's natural, that's fear, yeah? Anxiety, however, is about worrying over a potential future threat. Uncertainty, okay? The focus is really the future meaning what if? What if this happens? What if that happens? What if this situation doesn't turn out right? It's about the future. And the duration can be very long lasting, unlike fear. It's not momentarily, it's long lasting. For example, we could be worrying about a job interview. We could be worrying about a speech that we are to deliver. We could be worrying about the possibility. Remember, it's not present, it's future. We could be worrying about the possibility of suffering particular financial problems or health problems. Okay? Common symptoms of anxiety may include increased heart rate, rapid breathing, restlessness, and trouble concentrating. However, anxiety can present in different ways depending on the person. While one person may experience butterflies in their stomach, heart palpitations, etc., another may experience the urge to use the bathroom, may experience a problem with itching, may have panic attacks, may have a problem with sweating, may have nightmares or wake up from nightmares experiencing panic attacks, which is a horrible thing, may have disturbing thoughts. But all of these symptoms present themselves and are coming from or out of feelings of anxiety. Okay? Now, if you are one who experiences anxiety, then I want you to know that you are definitely not alone. Okay? Speaking of global prevalence, listen to these numbers now. 359 million people, or 4.4% of the global population, have an anxiety disorder. This was in 2021. I'm sure it was probably higher now. In terms of the United States, approximately 1/3 of adults in the United States will have an anxiety disorder during their lifetime, according to statistics. Women are more likely to be affected by anxiety disorders than men, again, according to statistics. Anxiety is common among young people, and it absolutely is. I'm sure that you know many of our young people that are expressing symptoms of anxiety. Different sources cite estimates like 31.9% of the US adolescents having an anxiety disorder, or nearly 1 in 4 adolescents in general. That's a huge number, brothers and sisters. And what is it that is causing this problem, particularly among our young people, in terms of anxiety? Well, I've heard the Honourable Minister Louis Farrakhan say that this generation, this current generation, are not born for this world. We are experiencing the change or the changing of worlds. What do you mean? Well, an old world is on its way out. Okay? What do you mean an old world? A world that is built on slavery, colonialism, white supremacy. That world is finished, brothers and sisters. A world that is ruled by Caucasian thinking. That world is finished. The new world that is coming in is the kingdom of God, God's world. Believe me, that's what is coming in, brothers and sisters, where all of those that are blessed to see that world will experience peace. We don't have no peace in this world, where we will experience freedom, justice and equality. So this present generation are naturally stressed because they're not born for this world that we currently live in. They're born for a better world. So naturally they're stressed by the world that they're born into. Okay? And it's very serious, brothers and sisters. If you have children, or if you have brothers and sisters, family members that are experiencing problems with anxiety, and oft-time it twins with depression, then understand why. Okay? Now, unfortunately, if you are one that experiences anxiety and you go to the doctor, quite often the doctor will prescribe you anti-anxiety medication. And I wouldn't recommend that, brothers and sisters. I wouldn't recommend that at all. However, if you're experiencing anxiety and depression, then that's real. And you have to live with that. And I'm not judging you or trying to condemn you in any way, shape, or form if you are taking medication. But what I would suggest as your brother is this. Try to get a diagnosis, a proper diagnosis, first and foremost, to what's going on, because you may not even be experiencing anxiety. It may be something else, okay? Then, in the Nation of Islam, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan gives us something called Study Guide. There are 21 self-improvement study guides, and the 3 principles that those 21 self-improvement study guides are built upon is, number 1, self-examination. Yeah, self-examination. Number 2, self-analysis. Self-analysis. And number 3, self-correction. We have had a terrible trod in the West. We've been brutalized. Our people have experienced slavery, and that has been passed through the generations, both on a genetic level as well as the physical level. We have experienced colonialism, disgusting racism. So it's not surprising
Matchsticks
that our people especially are experiencing problems with anxiety and depression. But if we would study ourselves, if we would partake in the study guides given to us by Minister Farrakhan and practice those 3 principles, self-examination, we've got to examine ourselves, examine our thoughts, and then go deeper than that. Analyze our thoughts. What's at the root of them? What's causing me to feel like this? What's causing me to think like this? Analyze ourselves and then make those corrections. Obviously, that's a process. There's no abracadabra, but we can achieve happiness, brothers and sisters, and we can get free from fear and anxiety and depression. Also, if you're experiencing anxiety, I would say to you, engage in regular physical activity, okay? Because this may reduce anxiety symptoms as it influences brain chemistry and promotes relaxation. A lot of us don't exercise enough, and we have to exercise, brothers and sisters, if we want health. Also, make dietary changes like cutting out alcohol. That's number 1. Cut out alcohol. Alcohol is not your friend. In fact, it is your enemy. I know many of us who suffer with depression and anxiety may drink alcohol and smokes tobacco and other things too. Try to cut those things out, brothers and sisters. They're not helping you. They're making things worse, okay? That's not the way forward, all right? Also, many of our people that suffer with anxiety overload with caffeine in the form of coffee or these so-called energy drinks, which are just full of caffeine and sugar, of course. And talking about sugar, try to reduce the amount of sugar that you eat also, because believe me, whatever we eat influence and impacts the way that we think. Okay? Try to eat a nutrient rich diet. Try to get away from fast food and all of those foods that make you feel good, but they're really not good. In fact, they're very damaging to not only our physical health, but also our mental health. Now, there's a scripture in the Holy Quran that reads, and this is from chapter 13 of the Holy Quran, the book of scripture of the Muslims, chapter 13, verse 11, which reads, quote, "Indeed, Allah will not change the condition of a people until they change what is in themselves." Okay, so we have to make certain changes first, brothers and sisters. And when we take a step towards change and being better, then Allah, God, will take 2 steps towards us. But we have to make the first move. All right? And also looking in the Bible, in the book of Romans, chapter 12, verse 2, there's a scripture that reads, quote, "And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind." So we have to be transformed, brothers and sisters, from within, and only you and I can do that. We have to learn to change our thinking, and if we do that, we will experience psychological and physical changes that will increase the quality of our lives. Okay, so we've come to the end of the show. I want to really thank you for spending an hour with us. I also want to, as I leave you, I want to invite you this Sunday to our local meeting in Barbados, Nation of Islam meeting, which is held at the Grisette's Community Center at 7:30 in the evening until 9, okay? And you are definitely most welcome. So, please feel free to come. If you have children, they're most welcome also, okay? And also on Wednesdays, not this coming Wednesday though, but on Wednesdays, we also have the self-improvement study guide that I've referred to, and where we sit in circles and we study some material and we enact those 3 principles that I was speaking about: self-examination, self-analysis, and self-correction. And that takes place at the Eden Lodge Community Center, again at 7:30 in the evening till 9. Okay, so thank you so much for being with us this evening. I'm definitely looking forward, brothers and sisters, to be with you again next week, or, as I said, see you at our meetings. Again, please be mindful of our brothers and sisters in Jamaica. Let us say a prayer. Let us pray that Allah God will help them to recover. Okay, and those that have lost loved ones and property, we pray that Allah will ease their burden. All right, so thank you so much for listening. May Allah God bless you as I leave you as I came, in the greeting words of peace. Assalamu alaikum.
For real people like you and me, for beautiful people like you and me. Experience the life-giving teachings of the most Honorable Elijah Muhammad each and every Sunday from 7 p.m. at the Grisette's Community Center.